glasses with your hand up right there.
Okay. Comment, then a question. A comment, then a question. First, a comment. Jason, you are hilarious. You deserve your own sitcom alongside Steve Carell.
I love you.
And this is for Johnny and Steve. When you first got the roles as Red Ranger and Black Ranger, what was the whole process of that? How did it start? How did you get it? And what was the whole experience behind that?
Well, we were living in Dallas. I'm from Texas. I'm from San Antonio, but I was living in Dallas at the time. And a friend of mine ran a pizza shop, and he told me he heard about this audition that they were having for Power Rangers. And I already heard about the show, but I didn't know that like some of the people were, were moving on and they were going to get some new Rangers. So I just heard that they were holding some auditions, and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, dude. No, they're not having any auditions like that. And then about a week later, I heard it from somebody else too. They're like, yeah, they're holding auditions here in Dallas, man. So I called the Fox TV station, and they said, oh yeah, you got to go there at this time, show up there. And so then I showed up there, and it was like, how many people were there that day? It was like, it must have been like 4,000 people there or something at that audition. And so we were all there hanging out, and then we basically did our routines. And then they called us back a little bit later that day to do another one, and then they filmed it. And then they sent that stuff to the producers. And then that's when they flew us out to California to meet the producers. We auditioned for them, and that's how we got the part.
When I was at the Kung Fu school and I was training, and my instructor was reading the paper, and he called me over and he showed me the newspaper article, said that they were looking for new Power Rangers. And it didn't say if it were stunt guys, or at least I didn't know if it was for stunts or if it for actual Rangers. But he told me, hey, you should go to the audition and give it a shot. And so I went, I kind of put together some like flipping and kicking and stuff, nothing really great. But then I went, and then I saw like thousands of people just lined up. I even remember seeing Steve like doing like 50 kicks in the air. I was like, dang, that's a lot of kicks, man. I was like, dude, I hope I don't have to do that. And then I remember, and I was like in my sweats at that point, so I was like, okay, whatever, I can do my flips and everything. So we'd show off our moves or whatever, and then we came back later, and it was like a monologue we'd have to read. And then I had to come back again. Well, actually, when they brought us all in, because I had a friend with me who was like, oh, I'll go with you, because I can dance. And he's this white guy that can't really dance. Thinks he can, but I wasn't going to tell him, I just needed somebody there for support. And,
even if you can let him crash and burn in public.
Exactly. But like they called you in, they lined you up, and they said, you come back, the rest of you go home. It's like they did it first, it was by looks. And then you come in and you did your martial arts stuff. And I remember after I did my martial arts stuff, it was like I got to come back with a monologue. And then he comes out all bummed out. He's like, man, I tried to do the windmill. It just didn't work out. And so anyways, yeah, so we went through the process, and then I remember I had to come back and do the monologue, but I went home and changed. In Texas, we wore tight jeans, And I thought I already did the martial arts stuff and didn't have to do it again. So I went back, and that was actually when I saw Steve doing his kicks, and I was like, dang, that's a lot. And I was like, oh man, me and my tight jeans, I don't know. I was like, hopefully all they want is me to read this line. And then I go in there, and that's not, they say, can we see the martial arts stuff again first? And I was like, oh crap. I swear to you, my kicks were no higher than this. Like this off the ground. And I just, there's one lady, Kate, what was her name? Katie Wall. Yeah, whoever it was, but she was the chick in the room, and I was like, I'm just gonna look at her and smile whenever I screw up. And be like, hey. No, please. But then somehow it worked. Well, actually, I went, like, it was like a couple weeks later, I think, because like I had gone, I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna go to college. And then I went and registered, and then I got called to go to California. And the funny thing is, if you guys know Dan Southworth, he and I, when I got there, I met him there, and we were auditioning for Black Ranger at that time. And we just went through the process, and then I got the part with him and Karen Ashley. But then it's funny because Dan eventually became a Ranger at some point anyhow. But yeah, so that's probably two.
You gotta understand that the process, when we cast the original show, I think we went through 500 or 600 people to find the original 5 Rangers. For the second casting, there was over 15,000 people in 4 cities. We had casting calls in LA, New York, Dallas, and Miami. So the odds of them getting on the show at all were enormous, and they made it anyway. And all 3 people came from Dallas.
Yeah, which I thought was strange.
Texas rules.
I thought maybe, my thought after that was like, well, maybe because like we're from Texas, we don't know anything about the business, they can screw us just a little bit more. But that's what I thought. Yeah, I don't think that.
What you got there in the red shirt there on the end? Yes, you.
This question is for Walter Jones, actually.
What's that?
Hey, you were actually the reason why I started watching the Power Rangers. I thought it was kind of cool that they try to add a little hip hop. Although the hip hop keto idea really didn't pan out after a while. I'm sorry, Tony.
You know, you tried.
But I noticed that you've cut your hair, and I wanted to congratulate you on being a 2004 dance champion. And I wondered, obviously I've been following your career for the last 16 years.
Will you marry me?
I wondered, now since you cut your hair, are you changing your look so that you can go back into acting? Are we going to see you in any projects? I know you've been doing independent films.
Yeah, well, I've never actually left acting. I've been doing it all along. The thing is it's over the last couple of years, it's been a little slower for me. But that's for a number of reasons. A lot of rappers are getting my roles now.
Yes.
So that's happening, and then there's Runaway Production. There's a whole professional, actor thing that's going on. The industry is changing overall. I did win the 2004 World Championship for salsa. Yeah. Dance has always just been a big part of what I love to do, and I felt all along that being an entertainer overall. I mean, I love acting, I love dancing, I love singing, I love entertaining. So I've always figured if I can make a living doing what I love to do, then I'm happy. And I think I've been happy throughout my life being an entertainer, whether it was dancing, singing, or acting. Acting, I've never left. It's just slow. Sorry. Koichi, love to talk to you, man.